but it's just like a perfect 50 pages if you want to understand a book.
That is all I picture. I picture that thing attacking the characters in the book.
Oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh no, I don't know. Oh no. Hello and welcome to the second vlog dedicated to the Goodreads reading challenge. The last vlog that I did, we read A Sweet Sting of Salt by Rose Sutherland and The Dead Cat Telesatans by Peter Jelly Clark. We are moving on to the next two books this time, and we're starting off with The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I've already mentioned this before, but this was definitely a book I did not see myself reading very early on into this challenge, because this was kind of middle of the road in regards to the votes on the Goodreads webpage, and I'm going from least voted to most voted. Least votes to most votes, but we are reading this for my sci-fi fantasy book club that I run, so because of that we are jumping right in and reading this earlier than planned. This is one that I think is going to do incredibly well. It is a fantasy murder mystery with inspiration with Sherlock Holmes. I've not read any H.P. Lovecraft, and I know he called his cat some super fucking racist name, so when I say it's Lovecraftian, I'm not taking too much joy out of that personally. But it's a very Sherlock Holmes Lovecraftian world. Somebody dies because a tree grows into their body. That's all I really know, and the main detective's a woman, so I'm stanning already. So I am about to head off and crack on reading this book. I am very excited to read this. It gives me the same vibes as The Last Mile in Sunder City by Luke Arnold and The Hexologists by Josiah Bancroft. I just love fantasy murder mysteries so much. So hopefully I like this. Later in the vlog we will be reading Voyage of the Damned, which is the book we were meant to read first, which is again another fantasy murder mystery set on a fantasy ship. So yeah, hopefully this is going to be the vlog of fantasy murder mysteries, and I love both of them. I feel very confident though about The Tainted Cup. Very confident. This is going to be the first case of me taking this book around. The other two books were books that I read at home, so I could fully talk about every single experience. Oh, this is a book, because I've got a very short amount of time to read it in time for book group, this is a book that I will be taking with me everywhere. So whenever it's a book that I take with me everywhere, and to be honest, when it's a book that I read anyway, the dust jacket comes off. It 100% comes off. I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. It's too risky. We're just going to put it back in the place it's supposed to be on the shelf, but I am not risking this in the slightest. This is what it looks like. It's not the most detailed underneath the dust jacket. I'm not the biggest fan of hardbacks because they are very hard to transport. So I have read about 38 pages, and this, we start off dead bodies straight away. Let's not beat around the fucking bush. It's set in this very, it's hard to explain. We have two characters. We have Din. Din is a 20-something assistant to this investigator who covers this specific region. It's very he seems to be a very weird choice to be the assistant to the head investigator for the area, and a lot of people are questioning him. We then have Anna, who kind of gives me slightly drow elf vibes, even though she's got lighter grey skin. It's drow something. In this world, there are people that are altered to have heightened senses, so Din has the ability of an engraver, so all he has to do is just take a solid look and kind of a meditative look at an area, and he will remember every single tiny thing he looked at. And the way that he recalls these memories is by smelling certain smells while he's doing the job. Smell that smell again when he's recalling something, and it will all flood back to him. We don't know too much about Anna yet. She's very, drow elf-esque, but she also, you can have these things called grafts where basically they can alter your skin to give you certain enhancements. She is blindfolded quite a lot because her eyes are so altered and hypersensitive. She can't really go outside that much. So she's a little bit of like an armchair detective from what I'm guessing at the moment. The fact that she doesn't really leave her house and she's solving all these mysteries sounds very exciting. It's a very interesting kind of magic-esque system at the moment. What's also quite interesting is plants are very important. The cultivation and the harnessing of plants and their uses to further humanity in this world is really cool. The murder mystery does start off with Din heading to this noble house where this very important person has been found dead with literally a tree growing from inside him and basically exploding him a little bit, which is very crazy. But I love Din and Anna is very autistic coded as well, and I love their dynamic. So yeah, 38 pages in, and we've got a really good sense of the atmosphere, the kind of mystery we're getting ourselves involved in, and the two characters that we meet. So it's a very good first 40-ish pages. And I'm only on chapter 3. So that's good going. And I made more of a dent than I originally thought I would. So I'm very happy with how things are going so far. So I have a 50-page update for you. I get where the Sherlock Holmes Lovecraftian comps are from, but I would also add Attack on Titan. It's set in a world where every rainy season, every rainy season, these leviathans, these deep sea creatures attack their country, and they've formed these walls to help block water and to block these monsters. So it's giving a very Attack on Titan. The characters in this are incredible. We are definitely entering into some like political conspiracy. That much I know so far, because Din, our main character, who has dyslexia, so there's amazing dyslexia representation in this as well. He's clearly somehow cheated his way into the position that he's in. We don't really understand why. I think it's going to be an element of somebody who's incredibly good at their job has to cheat in an exam because their dyslexia kind of not holds them back, but they have great practical skills. They just struggle with the written word. So they've had to cheat their way into doing well on the test, even though they've got the skills anyway, if that makes sense. But that's kind of the vibe. The dynamic between Din and Anna, his boss, is hilarious. Anna is an incredible fucking character. I love seeing quirky female characters, but in a way where they are kind of not just like, oh, I'm so quirky, like genuinely weird, freaky female characters. Love them. So yeah, 50 pages in, really, really, really good. And I think the first 50 pages is a perfect setup. It explains our characters very well. It explains the kind of dynamic they've got. It also explains the kind of book you're getting yourself into. I wouldn't find that the way that the magic system works, right now it's not really magic. It's more just like genetic modification and how humanity has been able to turn plants into a way to genetically modify their lives and their bodies, which is really interesting. So it's a bit more science fantasy, I would say, than just fantasy. But it's just like a perfect 50 pages if you want to understand a book. Robert Jackson Bennett has just amazingly written the most perfect 50 pages. So yes, tomorrow I am covering another store, which means that more reading will be done, which is amazing. That's the one good thing about working in different stores, is that you get so much reading done. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping to get to page 100 this evening, so I'll update you on the next 50 pages or if anything notable happens. But this is a very... I can just feel it's going to be a top 10 contender. I would say also potentially even a top 1. I know that's early to say because we are literally at the end of April, but this is a first place contender already. So I am now on to the second part. So as I've already said, I felt like the first 50 pages, but in general, the first part of this book was just a great way to get you used to the characters, the world, the style of the mystery. It's kind of the initial mystery that expands into a bigger thing. So just an incredible first part, and kind of what I would say just for me in my fantasy books and things like that, I want to see the first 50 pages, first part of a book like that. I think it's perfectly done. There's loads of fantasy books out there, and there's loads of adaptations. Like Harry and I are like, we're one episode away from finishing Wheel of Time season 3. But this, Anna, the main investigator, Anna as a character is so incredibly amazing and quirky and weird and intelligent, and I get the Sherlock Holmes connections 100%, but I've never wanted to see a character on the small or big screen as much as I want to see Anna. Her dialogue is genuinely fucking hilarious. Like, I'm laughing out loud. I need more of this. I can't have it just as a book. I can't. I need it on like a bigger... I need it on a screen. I want to literally... I'll have it in a video game. I'll have anything. It is so good. I'm about to enter part 2. I'm now currently on chapter 7, page 73. That's how much I've read so far. But fuck me. When everybody was saying that this was their favourite fantasy book of 2024, I get it. I get it.
So I am now 84 pages into this book. We've had our first Leviathan attack called a Titan. I was like, I see you. But the only thing I can picture when they're talking about these Leviathans is this one Pokemon. Hold on. Dondonzo. Okay, the Pokemon Dondonzo. I'm going to bring it up, but I'll put it up on the screen. Can you see? That is all I picture. I picture that thing attacking the characters in the book. But I'm really enjoying this. It's such a good book. It feels... In my quarterly check-in video, I was talking about how the first quarter of 2025 felt very meh. A lot of the books I was reading were just really uninspiring, or they were my favourite authors, but just like not that great of a book, like a very like they've done better. Like still good because I like the author's work, but I was expecting more. It feels good to be reading a book that I'm like fully excited about and can see being an all-time favourite. Like... 35, only read 35 pages, but it's juicy. It's a juicy book, and I think Anna is probably one of the best female characters written ever. I love her. And some people may not like swear words in books. It may not be their thing, but every swear word in this book is perfectly used. Perfectly used. I only read 50 pages overall yesterday. Some amazing 50 pages. And the one thing I wanted to shout out about while I'm remembering it in my brain is the fact that obviously Anna, who is the boss of our character Din, is the more knowledgeable, powerful... She's an armchair detective. You can give her all the information. She will figure out the answer just from sitting down at home, having not been to the crime scene or anything. But what I'm really liking is about 140-ish pages in, Din himself is now putting 2 and 2 together. There's a conversation where he's working with another engraver like himself, and this engraver, who I don't trust, I must say, I feel like he's definitely working for the villains and he's like skewing information. But anyway, this assistant investigator was interviewing some of the people connected to some deaths that have occurred, and Din started putting 2 and 2 together and was like, these statements are not adding up. You couldn't have been here, or the person that died could not have been here at this time, because it contradicts their entire diary that I read and engraved into my mind. So then he's going back to interview them and he's like, tell me the truth. He's obviously nicer than that, but he's like, that can't be right for this reason. And it's like, see, you're just as good as investigating. Have some confidence in yourself. But I am now just under 200 pages into the Tainted Cup. Oh, loving it. It's so good, honestly. It feels so good to be reading a book that is just instantly 10 out of 10. It doesn't have to work to get to that point. It's just so good. So I'm reading that at the moment. I have a bus journey because I'm heading off to Bristol, so I probably won't get that much reading done today. But I am going on the bus, so can maybe get 20-25 pages done. But then I'm with my sister and my dad's girlfriend all day. I doubt there will be time for reading. So there's that. It's just in my little cute little handbag. I bought another handbag the other day that I wanted to take with us, but the book is a hardback, so it doesn't fit in. But that's where I am at this point. I don't know how many days, sorry if my makeup's all over the place, I don't know how many days I've been reading The Tainted Cup. But yesterday, Darcy and I went to Bristol to do jewellery making, which was so much fun. The train was rammed, someone was sat in our seat. I'm kind of not really confrontational, so Darcy and I didn't say anything. But I managed to sit next to the most loveliest gentleman ever, who was like, nobody's been wanting to sit next to me because I look like a grumpy old man, and I'll be honest with you, that's my tactic. So you've done well to ask me. And he was the loveliest man, and we joked, and he was great. But during that time, I also read more of The Tainted Cup. It is just getting juicy, and now I do keep these spoiler free, so I can't tell you all the juicy revelations that I've got, but I need this book. I know there's a second book, and I think it's a duology, but I actually just want a continuous series till the day I die of Din and Anna solving murders and political corruption. That's what I want. But it's really, really good. I'm over halfway through now. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish it this weekend, but it will definitely be finished before the 1st of May. I have to finish it before Thursday, so I've got 4 more days. I think I will fly through it. I'm not worried in the slightest. But yes, it's very, very good. I definitely think this is going to be in the top of fantasy books. Because the thing is with the Goodreads Choice Awards, and everybody says this, the Goodreads Choice Awards is based on popularity. So the bigger the author you are, the more likely you're going to get votes, because also people that maybe haven't read all the other will just go for the author that they know the most. When I first started voting in the Goodreads Choice Awards, when it was first around, I would just vote for authors that I'd read before and enjoyed their work and wanted to support. Now I will only vote if I read the book and I liked it. I can't remember what I voted for last year, I'm not sure, but this is where we get things like the winner of the Goodreads Choice Awards is the most recent TJ Klune book, which is a sequel. And don't get me wrong, it was probably a good book, but this is doing something so innovative and so fresh and so exciting. I'm disappointed it wasn't higher. Same with The Sweet Sting of Salt. That was such a beautiful fantasy story. I'm surprised it wasn't higher, but it's because it's more of an author popularity contest, which is why I like doing stuff like this, because it exposes me to those authors that are really, really good, that just maybe aren't as popular. And it was, anyway, I can't remember, I think this came like 5th place, but it's so good and I'm absolutely loving it. Hello! As I record this, I had started editing the vlog and was going through the clips. I realised that I hadn't rated or reviewed The Tainted Cup after I read it. The last clip that you would have seen was me saying that I was really enjoying it. I read the last batch of chapters in one evening, in one fell swoop. It was so good. So this is after I've read the next book you're going to watch, which is Voyage of the Damned. I am now here recording what I was meant to have recorded about 3 weeks ago. So yes. So ultimately I read The Tainted Cup, obviously, that's why we're here. I read it because we had chosen it for book group, and I went to book group. I read it, I think I completed it a couple of days before book group, and I was very, very nervous about going to book group about this book because I read it, and if any of you have seen my reviews yet, I gave it 5 stars. It is at the moment on the very, very top of my favourite books of the year. It is incredible. I loved it so much. And I was really nervous going to book group because I thought, oh, fucking hell, what happens if they all hate it? And this is going to be really embarrassing because I loved it so much. But it was actually across the board a very, very, very strong reception. Overall, everybody really, really enjoyed it, which was great. But yes, so my thoughts on this book. Currently, as of now, it is top of the leaderboard. So The Dead Cat Tell Assassins was about a 3.5 star rating. A Sweet Sting of Salt was 5 stars. The Tainted Cup was also 5 stars, but there was just something above it. And the reason, I mean, The Tainted Cup, and I've said this, I think, at the beginning of the video, but if I haven't, The Tainted Cup is everything that I would want in a book. It's an incredibly unique and never been done before or been seen before fantasy setting. It has incredibly interesting, layered, and funny characters. I really feel that Robert Jackson Bennett nailed the comedy in this. I think it's a hard thing to nail comedy in books sometimes, but he nailed it. The plot just kept on giving. The world building was amazing. The politics was so good. I literally, the next day, bought the sequel. I loved it that much. It was so, so good. I genuinely have no notes
the book group was trying to bring up things that they personally had issue with. Even if I could like understand where they were coming from, it didn't mean anything for me. I did not care. It is genuinely one of the best fantasy books I've read, point blank, period. Regardless of anything else, I loved it. The murder mystery was done really, really well. The fantasy was done really well. I loved the characters and I loved their dynamics between each other. It was genuinely just so good. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. It is definitely going to be in my top 10 books at the end of the year. At the moment, as I'm filming it now, it is like middle of May. It's the middle of May. And as I film this, it genuinely is my favourite book so far this year. Just up there. Absolutely fucking incredible. I'm so excited to see what he does next. It's definitely one of those book series I could see going on for a really long time. I'm hoping a minimum of 5 books in this series. I will accept nothing less than 5. I'm very excited to read the sequel. I'm interested to see where the rest of this reading challenge goes now, because I definitely have hit a peak already. So it'll be interesting if anything matches up with that book. So at the moment, The Dead Cat Tail Assassins, A Sweet Sting of Salt, and The Tainted Cup. Ow! And The Tainted Cup. Hello! And it's been ages since I filmed the last part of this reading vlog, but I am back. For you, this will be about a split-second change, but for me, it's been about 3 weeks? 3 weeks since I read my last Goodreads book? I don't know. But we are moving on to my next book. This is actually book 4 of... I actually can't remember again how many... Anyway, moving on to book 4. So the last books that we've had to catch you all up, since the split second you've watched the other one, we had A Sweet Sting of Salt, which I loved. The Dead Cat Tail Assassins, which was fine. Then The Tainted Cup, which was fucking incredible. So... it'd be interesting to see where Voyage of the Damned fits into this. Voyage of the Damned is a fantasy murder mystery set on some kind of magical boat. So my knowledge of Voyage of the Damned, if you haven't seen the original kind of TBR video that I made, is that I had no real interest in reading this book, to the point where a friend of mine wanted to talk about the book, and I was like, yeah, babe, talk about it with me. I'm never going to read this. That's fine. Tell me all the spoilers, and now here we are. And I did take a quick Google on Goodreads, and apart from one of my friends, Morgan, who gave this 5 stars, most of the people that I follow on Goodreads, whose opinions I trust, have DNF'd this. So I am going into this feeling not excited, also feeling like this will also be a DNF for me. So this may be the quickest second part of a vlog ever. I'm just pre-warning you. I want to give it a minimum 100 pages. If I'm not vibing at 100 pages, then we will DNF it, and it will automatically be at the bottom of my ranking. Oh, it's just tough, isn't it? When you just know that you're not interested in it, and there's so many things, it's a lot working against this book. It could blow me away, but the evidence at the moment makes me think it won't. So starting off, all of the provinces in this world are dictated. I'm just going to place you here. Are dictated by animals. Some of the most interesting animals chosen: grasshopper, ermine, ermine. A lot of them are all normal, and then tortoise. A lot of them are all normal animals, and then you just get butterfly. They're like, we forgot this was a fantasy book, so we need to add a fantasy animal in. Oh, okay. Sorry, it's already giving slightly cringy main character. Somebody just shot finger guns at a guy he thought was cute. Oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh no, I don't know. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh, we'll see. We're going to give it time. I said 100 pages. Okay, so we are officially about to properly get into Voyage of the Damned. I just did some cleaning in my bathrooms and feel like I'm overwhelmed. So we're actually going to properly get into this book now. From the first glimpse of the first page, the writing style seemed a little bit cringe. A character was throwing out finger guns and called somebody petal soft. So we'll see. I did say I was going to give it 100 pages. So let's all just calm down. Gonna give it 100 pages. My initial thoughts, I am now how many pages? 7 pages in. The writing style isn't as cringe as I thought, sorry. So that's good. I will say the dialogue is really forcing itself to be witty. We're really pushing this character is witty and throws out witty one-liners, which I don't mind. It does feel a little tad bit forceful, not really doesn't feel like authentic. So we'll see. This is obviously very much just set up, but we'll see. His name's Ganymede, like the Greek god character, the Greek character. Ganymede. So overall, I'm on chapter 2 now. I'm 14 pages in. Overall, the concept's actually pretty cool. There are 12 provinces? 12 provinces in this kingdom. They're all named after animals. And then the ruler of each province has this ability called a blessed. I think it's called a blessed or a blessing. Sorry. They have a blessing. And our main character, Ganymede, doesn't. His dad was fucking around and one of his illegitimate children has the blessing and Ganymede doesn't. And now Ganymede has to go on this voyage of the damned to claim being the new leader of the province, because I guess there is one. But he's like, shit, I've got to pretend I have this blessing that I don't have. And that's really cool. The writing style, considering this is an adult fantasy, the writing style feels very YA. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I love YA books, but I'm surprised that this was pitched as an adult fantasy when the writing is so incredibly YA. I don't know, it's just things like, there are 2 things which are undeniably cool: walking away from explosions without looking back and turning up late to parties. That feels YA. Is this YA in America and maybe in the UK but she's English. And I think this is right now is kind of the bugbear that keeps popping up as I read this, is that I really like the idea. I'm intrigued to see more of the mystery element, but the writing feels mismatched to the rest of the book, if that makes sense. So another thing, I'm 20 pages in now. We're meeting a couple of the other people with blessings. I'm like trying to think about how to nicely say this. The provinces thing in this is, again, I'm only 20 pages, so I can't comment too much, but it feels very, I don't know, I'm just very confused about why this is an adult fantasy, because it really, apart from the swearing and the age of some of the characters, it feels very YA. Having animal themed provinces, but they all have different coloured hair depending on what province you are, it just feels super YA. And I think this is what's kind of throwing me off this book. It's like, you know that she's from what province was she from? Hold on. It's easy to tell where people are from in Concordia. You simply look at the hair. Mine is bereft of any colour, as white as dove feathers. It's a fish province trait. I don't know why. I just want that. It just feels very like, oh, okay, they're going to have 12 provinces and they're all going to have different coloured hair. I just don't really care for that kind of world building. But it feels very young. It doesn't feel very detailed. And again, I'm only at the beginning. And I think because a lot of thought went into the Tainted Cup. And I loved the way that the Tainted Cup had its different cultures and things like this. This feels very like, we'll just do a dartboard and pick and go, this is the hair colour for the crab province. Do you know what I mean? And it feels a bit, I really don't like the dialogue. It's actually getting a bit painful. And I'm genuinely not saying this just because I had like preordained issues. I am going into this thinking like, right, I want to try really hard with this. I don't want to go in with any preconceived notions. But there's a really good looking guy that's just turned up who I'm guessing our character has history with. And he grabs him by the wrist. And then there's a whole thing where it's like, I just need to say something, say anything. And then he goes, your ass looks amazing in those trousers. And then says, well, I'm in it now, might as well roll with it. You should charge me. It's just, oh, I just don't like it. So I did get 30 pages into this. And this is not uncommon for me to DNF books that early in its run. I am actually known for DNFing books like literally straight away if it doesn't connect with me. My biggest issue with this book, one, we cannot deny the fact that I knew a lot of the endings because my friend told me, and originally it was one that just didn't really seem to be something I was drawn to. I was really going into this hoping to be proven wrong. Unfortunately, I don't feel that way. I don't like it. It's not that interesting to me. Start off with the positives. I really like the idea. I think the world is interesting to a certain degree. I did like the politic elements that I did see. The downsides for me are, I think that while I liked the world building on a surface level, it does feel very surface level world building. Again, I'm only commenting this because I've only read 30 pages, so I can't comment on this like it's nearly 500 page book. This feels very surface level world building from what I've seen. I find the main character to be very insufferable. I understand that this is clearly my point is that the character is going through a lot and is masking their pain through insufferability. I know that. Unfortunately, it's not funny insufferable, it's not quirky insufferable, it's just insufferable. The dialogue to me is very cringy, it's not witty. I think the Tainted Cup, having literally just read, I just want to say, earlier today I finished Isabella Gnag and the Pot of Basil. Genuinely funny dialogue. The Tainted Cup had genuinely funny dialogue. This dialogue was just cringy. It was just cringy. I found the writing in general to just be fine. Like, I wasn't drawn in by the writing style. I do think this was actually a little bit maybe categorized in the wrong place. Like, I would not put this, from what I've read, I would not put this in the adult fantasy. This feels very YA. And maybe that's something going for it, which maybe if I'd gone into it thinking it was more YA, maybe I'd be a little bit more... It just feels, the writing style feels very YA. It feels younger in its tone and in its voice. And knowing that I've got probably about 400 pages more of it, I don't want to put myself through that. So yeah, this is one that we knew was happening though. I knew from the minute it was on the list that there was a chance I wouldn't be able to get through it, just because it didn't seem like even though on paper, fantasy murder mystery seems like my thing, in reality, it just missed the mark. And I do think I might have felt differently if I didn't know the ending, because I did know that the ending wasn't really my thing as well, because my friend Charlotte told me. Sorry to this book, it is a DNF. So, at the end of this video, now we have read 4 of the books so far. The order goes as this. In 4th place, Voyage of the Damned by Frances White, DNF. 3rd place, The Dead Cat Tail Assassins by P.G. Deli Clark, which I believe I gave it a 3-star or a 3.5 star. Then in 2nd place was A Sweet Sting of Salt by Rose Sutherland with 5 stars. And then in the 1st place, which I think it's going to be hard to knock that book down, in 1st place is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. And the next book that I'm going to be reading is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I will probably do what I've done in these other videos, where I do 2 books a video. So that will be And the Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. So those will be the next 2 books that I read and do a video, which could be out in maybe a month and a bit. But yeah, we went from probably potentially my favourite book of the group, potentially my favourite book of the year, to a book I couldn't read any more than 30 pages of. A whiplash of a video, probably. You can't do much. Thank you so much for watching. I think this is going to be, hopefully when I edit it, a very interesting video, but thank you so much for watching. If you want to continue on with my journey reading for 2025, but also my Goodreads reading challenge, please do subscribe. I do weekly vlogs every Monday, which is about my life, a little bit of a snapshot of my life, as well as all the books that I'm reading. And then I do bookish videos every Thursday. And yeah, please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah.